Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Double Flush back with our 2026 Beginner's Guide to an OP Build and Playthrough. Today we are starting part 1 of 2 of Conquering Caelid. I just want to remind everybody, if you get any value from today's video, please like, share, and subscribe. And we are going to kick this video off with the Devine Tower in Caelid, so let's jump into this. So the way you access this is jumping onto that tree and then getting onto this platform here and trying your best not to die right there. We're going to head up this ladder. And then just kind of try to scale our way along here. Alright, now from here we're just going to follow this ladder all the way up, and that'll take us inside the tower. Alrighty, so we got our first sight of grace, and now we are going to head left down here, and there will be 2 red main soldiers here, and these guys are supercharged. They do a lot more damage than the regular ones, so just be mindful of that. So once we defeat these guys, we are going to head down here, and there's going to be a series of jumping from platforms to platforms. Actually, I think I botched this. Yes, so I got to turn around, scale along this little ledge here, and then fall down here. This platform will break. That's fine. You're not going to perish from that. So this is challenging here. What we have to do from here is we have to jump down on that little platform there. My advice to you is jump diagonally back into the building, and it's way easier to control where you land on the platforms because they're very skinny and there's very little room for error. So I found that works best for me. So take that for what it is. Anyways, we are going to fall down onto this little ledge here. And then we just have to tank our way through this guy here. See, look at that. One shot, he took nearly half my HP. So we'll take this elevator up. And around this corner, there's going to be a black flame monk here. Got a piece of his armor. I love that armor. I don't know why. It's not that great. It just looks cool. It doesn't have any special abilities or anything. I just like the way it looks. Alright, so what we're going to do is climb up these stairs. That's going to bring us back to near the beginning. but there was a locked door where those two red main soldiers were. So we're going to open that door, and then that way, if we do end up making a mistake, we can, bypass the first half of this dungeon, if you will, because that's kind of a pain in the ass. All right, so now we're heading back down that same hall. This is that same fire monk. I had to restart because I took the wrong path and couldn't get back up. So from here, we're going to want to go along this ledge and jump down on that platform down there. And this is going to be another one of those ones that breaks away. But again, you will survive it. Alright, so we're going to fall down here. Take this elevator down to the bottom. And we'll have a sight of grace just before we have to fight the dungeon boss, which is a Godskin Apostle. This dungeon is very much well worth doing, and you'll see why in a minute. Alright, so when you come around the corner, there's going to be another one of those black flame monks. So I like to just be super offensive with them, but as soon as they spark their little black flame thing, get out of the way, because that'll do so much damage. Like I said, this is a Godskin Apostle. Use my good old mimic tier here, and between the two of us, we are just going to erase this dude. Alright, so we have the Godskin Apostle full armor set. It's pretty mediocre, honestly. Oh, I went the wrong way. So this is why this is very much worth doing. Because right here, we are going to pick up one of the S tier of the S tier weapons. The Godslayer's Greatsword is actually a colossal sword. This thing will do shitloads of damage. Like, when it is maxed out, this thing is a problem. So that is, without a doubt, top 10 weapon in the entire game. A bit of a pain in the ass to get, but well worth it. That'll carry you well into defeating the boss at the end. And actually, I have defeated the Elden Beast with that. And also, yeah, it's good for New Game Plus. The Asher War, the one kind of asterisk with it is the Asher War is pretty slow with it, but it does do so much damage that it's worth it. But you really got to pick your spots on where you're actually going to use that Asher War. Alright. So we took the elevator back to the top. And now we're going up to the roof to activate Radahn's Great Rune. So there we go. So we are heading back to Fort Feroth, where we beat the giant dragon and got a ton of runes in the beginning of the game. We're heading back to that site of grace, but this time we are going to fight one of the Erdtree avatars. Now this one is probably one of the more challenging ones to beat in this game, just because he has a ton of HP. He absorbs damage quite well and deals a ton of damage in the process. And also when he does his little jump up and stomp on the ground, it releases a ton of scarlet rot. So just be conscious of that, because yeah, it'll decrease your HP so fast. So as always, I fight these guys off of Tauren. I'm going to equip a gold pickle foulfoot in my quick menu, just because when we get to the end of this fight, we're going to pop that gold pickle foulfoot and get some extra runes for it, because you get a lot of runes for defeating this guy. So we're going to get buffed up here and give it a go. Yeah, when he does that jump attack, you'll notice that Scarlet Rot kicks up from the ground, and that will spread pretty far. So if you think you're far enough away, you know, see, I thought I was far enough away and it got me. So if you think you're far enough away, move back even further. So these guys are pretty predictable in their movesets. He has the big chopping motion, and sometimes he'll end it there, or he'll follow it up with like a side swipe. Yeah, see, he didn't follow it up there, but he will. Or they'll do three, like two swipes to the side and then finish with the big chop. Or he'll do this, where he slams the his halberd here into the ground, and yeah, a bunch of little beams of light come shooting at you, and you just gotta run. What I do is I just run in circles, and it always seems to evade that pretty easily. So we just wait till he's done whatever moveset he's doing. So this one, he's going to do the 2 combo, where he chops and follows it up with a side swipe. And then as soon as we know he's done with his combo, we just go back and we get 2 hits on him. 2 hits, 2 hits, 2 hits. Yeah, see. And my advice for this boss is just be patient with these fights. They're super easy, but you just gotta be patient. Don't get greedy. This guy can one-shot you, depending on how far you are in the game and how much HP you have and what armor you have. So there's been many a times where I've got him down this far, like actually 1 hit away, and then he's actually just taken me out. So yeah, just don't get greedy with your strikes. Just pick your spots, and then you'll be fine. Those are 2 of the best tiers for the Wondrous Physic in the game. The Opaline tier drastically reduces damage negation, and the I think that's the Stone Barb Crack tier, which improves stance breaking. So 2 massive additions to our build. So I just traveled to the Celia Crystal Tunnel Site of Grace. I'm not doing that title. We're not doing that tunnel. We're going to do the Celia Town of Sorcery. So we'll walk through that. And that is this big giant building right here. Now you'll notice certain areas are currently blocked off. And what we need to do is light these torches in these little light towers up here. But we'll go through that. See if you see this door here. There is a magic seal on it. And there are 3 of these towers that we need to light to unlock those doors. So there's a ton of stuff here. All right, this is the that's the Staff of Loss. So that staff scales with both intelligence and faith. So that is one of those rare items that you would want to consider getting if you are doing a faith intelligence build, because there is not much stuff to accommodate both that scale with both. So keep that in your back pocket. That's a great addition to a build with the Sword and Knight and Flame, which we showed in our Carrion Manor walkthrough. So, yeah, just check out all the rooftops. You'll find tons of stuff. Like stone sword keys and all sorts of little goodies. There's a scarab with a somber stone. I believe it's either 4 or 5, so that's well worth getting. Alright, so we've got all those towers lit up. So what we're going to do is head to the first door that unlocked. And this is a boss fight. This will be 2 of those Nox soldiers. As you can see, that was very challenging. Nox flowing sword, that is garbage. That is one of the best staffs in the game right there, so very worth getting if you are scaling into intelligence and doing a magic build. So now that this door's open, we can get this Site of Grace and we can head up to the church where we will find Millicent, where she is kind of slowly rotting away with scarlet rot for the time being. Just be careful when you're coming up here because those big boulders will appear and crush you. I don't really have a more clever line. and that. So there's the church up there. It is guarded by two of those pests that just look like shrimps. So these have to be top 5 most annoying enemies in this game. Easily top 5. I put them right up there with the rats. And bats. Alright, so we're going to talk to Millicent here. She's going to tell us that she has the plague. Here we go. And then what we need to do to progress her storyline is we need to go talk to the sage at the back near the town of sorcery that we were just at. In this area, you don't really want to spend too much time standing in one spot because all those ghost sorcerers will appear and more of them will just keep coming, and it'll just get harder and harder to get out of here. Alright, so we actually just picked up one of the best sorceries in the game. That was the Night Comet. Now, it's not the best in regards to it does the most damage, but it does a respectable amount of damage, and also bosses can't see it coming. So, you know, when you're doing sorceries and incantations and, you know, you get a boss like the Godskin Apostle or Morgott or something, they'll just sidestep it. They don't see it coming, so they won't sidestep it, so it's basically a guaranteed hit. And they won't block it either. Alright, so this area here, if you go for that chest right away, those guys will just box you in, and it's super difficult to fight your way out. So, I like to just defeat them first. Now we just picked up an imbued sword key. That is for the final tower of the 4 belfries that are in Liurnia of the Lakes. And then continuing on our looting of this town, there's another painting here. So now we are going to head out and go talk to the guy at the beginning of this. First, I'm going to kill his pet T-Rex.
First, you must find the unalloyed gold.
Alright, so we'll talk to him. He'll tell us that we need to collect the golden needle from the swamp. So there's a boss fight here. Also, there's the Ash of War. Right here. And the Sacred Rings of Light, so basically you just shoot a frisbee that does holy damage. Not bad. Clean Rot Knight Sword, that's a great sword you can get right at the beginning of the game. You can just farm for it right here. You know, you just have to defeat Clean Rot Knights with beginning of the game stats, which is a bit of a challenge, but it is doable. So it is one of those, you know, risk-reward type weapons that can make you OP early. Alright, so now that we're buffed up, we're just gonna melt this guy with just doing Donkey Kong style attacks. There we go. Alright, the Commander's Standard. So that is also, that can be a valuable buff. The only problem is it weighs a lot, so it can take away, you know, the amount of armor that you're allowed to bring, you know, bring out and still keep that medium loadout status. So that's why I never use that. I know a lot of guys do, especially the guys who like to do the one-shot videos. But for me, yeah, I don't like standing outside a boss fight pressing more buttons than I would to just defeat the boss inside the thing. So I grab like 2 or 3 buffs and then just head into combat. That's kind of my style. It is fun to see if you can one-shot bosses, though. It is fun to build around that. Alright, so we defeated him. Now we have to go back to Buddy's little shack there, and we'll give him the needle that we just got for defeating that boss. And he's going to ask to hold on to it for a bit, so we'll have to just piss off and go do something else for a minute and then come back to deal with that. But basically, we'll just go up to the church, and once he is done with it, we'll head up to the church, give it to Millicent, she'll use it and be cured of her scarlet rot. Sorry for spoiling the little plot there, but I think it was pretty obvious what was going on. Alright, so while we're killing time, we'll just head down this way. And see these bats here that are lighter in color? Once you defeat these guys, you actually get a Gold Ruin 9. So it is well worth it, and there's a bunch of them down here, so this is a good way to just stack some runes to level up. On top of what you get for defeating them as well. So there we go, gold rune 9, gold rune 9. Sometimes I wonder if this is worth it, just, you know. But it actually is. Alright. So I think we just picked up, what, about 5 or 6 of those. So good enough to level up at least once, if not twice. So that in itself is worth it, but there are more things down here. So if you come down here, a bunch of those sorcerers will appear, so you don't really want to just run in there, because they will actually block off the halls, and you will have a really tough time getting out of here. Because that one sorcerer, the spells that he uses do a ton of damage, and it's really hard to react to, so... So now that we've defeated them, we're going to head up to this little tower here. There is going to be a Bloodhound Knight in here. And what I like to do is just trap him in here so he can't spaz out and get all his little fancy agile attacks off. You just trap him in here and beat the shit out of him. And then we just picked up another sorcery. So we just headed back to the swamp site of Grace. And we're just going to go see Homeboy out here. He's going to get us the needle. And we are going to go give it to Millicent. Yeah, I heard that. So we'll exhaust his dialogue here just to progress the storyline. He will give you something that can be very valuable in the Elden Beast fight for the final boss of the game.
If you are wise, my flesh, you are to quell. But never mind. I would rather than simply. Would you mind that? Easier than expected.
Alright, so now we're talking to Millicent. And we give her the needle, she takes it, she passes out, and then we're going to rest at the site of grace. She's going to get up and be like, oh my god, I feel so much better. And we are going to get the
I'm considering leaving.
talisman here. This raises dexterity
All thanks to you. My name is Millicent.
by 5 points. I think any of those golden yellow squares, those talismans, whatever they raise them all by 5 points. Alright, so now that we've done that, we can head up this way, and there will be one of those battle mages here, so we gotta defeat him. Well, we don't have to, but he'll just make life miserable for us if we don't, so might as well just get him out of the way. So if we just head beyond that big grave and head straight back, if you roll into this giant boulder here, it will unlock the Celia hideaway. There is a part of Selena's questline in this cave, but given that we're not doing a magic build, or, you know, doing anything regarding magic, we're going to leave that for now. I can walk that back because I did say we're going to beat this game 100%, so if you want to see how that's done, I can do more of an in-depth video of this cave here, but for now we're just going to, you know, rip through the cave and defeat the main boss of the cave. So later today, I'm going to post another video. This one's going to be about the game Bloodborne. I have never played it in my entire life. I've never seen a video about it. I just bought it today and thought I would just embarrass the shit out of myself and just show you what the first hour of me playing a game I have no clue how to play. So check that out. That'll be out later today. So if you've played Bloodborne before and you want to feel good about yourself, you can watch me suck ass. Alright, so we're going to get buffed up here and enter this boss fight. Where there are 3 of these crystal fucking soldiers, I don't know. But these are the rot ones where they actually deal rot damage as well, so it's kind of a double whammy of, you know, damage and annoyance. So I like to take out the one that does the sorceries, because you don't want to be dealing with other ones while you're just getting shot from behind. So I'd rather just take her out first and then focus on these other two. With the dual wield Great Stars, it's easy to break their stance and break that that initial armor that they have on them. At this point of the game, I do have the incantation Flame Cleanse Me. I just don't know why I don't have it equipped right now. Especially doing Caelid, where you're just everything procs Scarlet Rot. So this is kind of a blunder on my part. So don't be like me. Equip Flame Cleanse Me, and anytime you get Scarlet Rot, you'll be able to just immediately get rid of it. So yeah. It's been a while since I've been in this tunnel, so you guys watching me trying to see if there's any hidden areas, but there isn't. So this is just 20 seconds of me flailing. So I know what we haven't done. We haven't done any of the dragon fights, so let's get into those. So when I do the any dragon fights, anything like that, once again I just find it easier to do off a Tauren, where we just kind of ride and, you know, try to chop down the legs. We'll get buffed up here. And with the help of our Spirit Ash, we should be able to chop this guy down pretty quick. We just want to be sure that we're not taking fire damage, because he will one-shot you with fire. Here we go, and we get a nice chunk of change for beating him. Probably should have popped a gold pickle foulfoot on that one. I could have really upped that too. Alright, so that's one dragon. Now we're going to fight the biggest pain in the ass of them all. Actually, that's not true. We're going to fight a bigger pain in the ass once we're done Ronnie's quest line, or towards the end of Ronnie's quest line. We're going to fight a much worse one. But not to take away from the pain in the ass that this guy is, because he really is. So, once again, because he is in Caelid, he will, everything he does when he stomps the ground, it will put scarlet rot mist into the air, and also rather than fire, he breathes scarlet rot. So this is just a awful situation to be in, but you know, you do get a nice chunk of change for defeating him, as well as there will be a new incantation at the Cathedral Dragon Communion, where you'll get his, which is basically like the Rotten Breath, but it comes from up above and covers a way wider area. So I just got Scarlet Rot there. So with that Scarlet Rot attack that he does, if he catches you in it, like 100%, he will one-shot you, so just be careful of that. Like, these dragon fights are all easy, but they do have the potential to one-shot you, and that's kind of the great equalizer, right? So you just got to be very disciplined in your attacks and not get greedy. Anyways, we are just going to end him super fast, and then that's going to be the end of part 1 of our Caelid series. There's just too much to cover in Caelid because there's so many good things. So just a reminder, if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.